Hi there. In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health, and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis, and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset, and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. Today, I am joined by a wonderful lady called Jen Ems, and she is a business astrologer, a moon goddess, and an intuitive alignment guide. Now, business astrologer, you may think she's talking about doing your star sign and all these kind of things, but Jen is something on a completely different level. She's doing astrology to show how you show up in your business and the best ways for you to create more ease and flow with the things that you're doing and to find that purpose that you're here for. So you're making your business soul aligned. So it's soul aligned emotionally, spiritually, and helping you to be more authentic with your life purpose. Now, Jen works a lot with the moon, which is why she's called a moon goddess. And she talks in this interview about how the moon affects us collectively and also how it can affect you based on your birth chart. So how it affects you collectively and individually as well. Also, how you can use the moon kind of like a checklist every month. So going through the different stages of the moon. So how they're quite predictable in the different stages of the moon, the 4 stages, if you like. And incorporating that into your business helps you go with more flow as well, because you're not resisting, for example, when it's after a full moon and you're releasing and reevaluating is not the time to be creating new projects and coming up with new ideas, because they come with the new moon. So that's really it's really cool to know these things, because you could have been going through your business and finding certain times of the month that are more difficult than others. And this kind of knowledge explains why that happens. So Jen helps people uncover their soul magic, and that she interprets the birth charts. She helps them with their forecasting, for example, for a 12-month forecast, if you wanted to go that far in depth. She helps you infuse passion and purpose into your business, because that's the reason she's here. That's the reason she was drawn into business astrology, moon goddessing, and being intuitively aligned in her business to help you do the same. Jen also has given us kindly 2 gifts, a monthly moon calendar gift and also an Align with Your Sun sign gift. So the links for those are actually in the show notes. You can grab them anytime. I have them. Jen is just amazing at what she does. You're going to really love this interview, and you're going to really learn a lot about yourself, even though Jen's not talking to you directly, because there's some things that you're going to listen to and you'll be like, oh, now that makes total sense. So let me introduce Jen Ems to you, who is the moon goddess, the wonderful, the one and only business astrologer that I follow, and I know you're going to love it. So enjoy this episode. So hi, Jen, and welcome to Happy, Inspired, Motivated. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome, actually. Things are, kind of chill. We got the new moon today. Just energy is kind of a little relaxing. So it's good. I'm riding with it.
Well, you are all about the moon. So yeah, if you're not riding with it, then who will be?
Right.
So for my audience here, you are the moon goddess. So that is your thing. That's what you do. That's what you help people with. So tell them a little bit about what it is and how you help people understand the moon better and why it's important as well.
So What I do is I help female entrepreneurs create a business that's soul aligned, because I think too often we have this vision of success based on money. And if you have a booked out calendar and you have these clients coming in and you're making money, then you're successful, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it's like a multifaceted approach that we're forgetting about. We're forgetting about that emotional fulfillment and even spiritual fulfillment, and I think that is way more important than financial. Yes, the money is great, but if you're doing things just kind of to check the boxes, I just feel like there's something missing, and it's how I lived my life for a long time. So and once you find that fulfillment, it's
Yeah.
like your whole world opens up. So I use the moon as a tool to help facilitate that fulfillment, because I think we are so I guess conditioned, from this is the way that we do business. And we are all, I'm not saying we're all, but a lot of us who opened our own business did it for reasons, personal to us. But I think it's in a very masculine oriented, action
Yeah.
taking
Definitely. Yeah.
view. And that was definitely me. And I needed a way to bring in that equally important feminine energy, the receiving part. And the moon, just for me, naturally helped me align with that. And it made it so much easier.
So when you talk about, you know, soul alignment and alignment with the moon, are we all aligned with the moon the same?
Not necessarily. So, and that is another point. That's another tool I use, is the birth chart, right? So I believe that everybody came into this lifetime with a soul map, and that soul map and kind of the guidance and is listed in your natal chart and in your birth chart. So I use that to kind of see, okay, the example that I always use is kind of the way we take action, right?
Yeah.
It's different for you than it is for me. And a lot of times we kind of force ourselves into the confines of a box to do it one way because it worked for this one person, and that therefore that's the only way we need to do it. And that's how we have to move
Definitely.
forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like for me, the planet that rules the action in my birth chart it's more of a uh, hidden, kind of slow down, it's not in your face type of thing. And it's the way it manifests in my business is different. But I had been trying to follow somebody else's way of doing things that just didn't align, and it felt wrong and it was hard. I think if we know ourselves, like truly know ourselves and what we're here to do, and that I believe is all in the birth chart, it makes things so much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, when you're born and where you're born and all these kind of things, they all change things slightly. Like you say, your birth chart. For me, I always found it really confusing because I know we're not talking about zodiac signs here, but I was born a Capricorn. But I was 2 weeks early, so I should have been the next star sign. And a lot of people say, oh, you're a typical Capricorn. But to me, I look at the other star sign, I think it's Aquarius. And that is so much more in alignment with who I am. And that really confuses me because I'm like, am I supposed to be Aquarius because the doctors made me come early, or am I actually Capricorn?
Yeah, and that's another thing I think, is that most people think of astrology and they think solely of the sun sign, and there's
Yeah.
so much more. Like you have your rising, and you have your moon sign, and each thing, like that's what the moon, your moon sign is all about that emotional fulfillment, which is why I focus very strongly on that in the birth chart and using the actual moon cycles. Because I feel it gives so many clues, and it like gives you a track to run on if you understand what really lights you up and like makes you feel like you have meaning. So I would say, to answer your question, yeah, you probably a sun, Capricorn, but it's like that is your fullest expression of where you want to be in this lifetime. But there's other parts of you that are probably expressed more. And that's why a lot of people don't really identify with their sun sign. And even especially for women, a lot of times identify more with their moon sign than their sun sign.
Oh, okay. So there's a moon sign as well. So
Yep.
how do you find your moon sign then?
Yeah, that's on your chart. So the easiest way, if you want to look at it, is you
Mhm.
can, I think it's astro.com. You can put in your information, your birth time, and you just need to know your birth time and the exact time that you were, or the exact place you were born. Because I
Okay.
mean, even a couple minutes could throw it off.
Wow.
Give you a
That's really detailed.
totally, because
Yeah.
the planets are always moving, they're always in transit, and where they show up could
Mhm.
give you a totally different kind of guide map than if you had got it wrong. So and it's not to say that you can't get anything if you don't have the exact time, but if you do want to know
Yeah.
specifics, then yeah, I'd say go look at your birth certificate if you can.
So, for example, my sun sign could be Capricorn, but my moon sign could be Aquarius.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh, that makes
And
more sense.
yeah, so like if your moon sign is Aquarius, what you need to feel fulfilled is doing things differently out of the box, doing things that are, maybe a little bit outside of the norm or convention. So
Mm.
it's just like little things like that is what I'm saying. If you understand who you are and kind of what makes you tick, it just makes running a business so much, I guess, more in flow, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm really passionate about, is just things don't have to be hard. We kind of want to, throw out the theory that you have to work hard or earn something in order to be considered,
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's giving you it gives you permission, doesn't it? Because it's what's in you and what the energy that's around you that sometimes you're causing your own resistance because you're pushing in the wrong direction, or you're pushing with the wrong vibration.
Right.
And allowing it, once you know it, you can allow yourself to be okay. Well, that's why it feels easier when I do it this way, even though it doesn't seem the right way. It probably is for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, we're trying so hard to find, oh, what makes us unique, what makes us stand out. But it's the stuff that comes to you naturally and easily that you don't even give a second thought to, that
Mm.
people are like, wow, how'd you do that? And it's so supported by your birth chart. And when you
Yeah.
truly understand that, okay, my chart is different than your chart, and is different than my kids and everybody else. And that's the uniqueness that you're
Mm.
looking for. A lot of us are looking for, and we feel like, why is this so hard? Why can't I figure out how to make myself stand out? Can she do it? And it's all about just coming back to who you are
Mm.
and embracing who you are, instead of trying to, like I said before, fit yourself into the confines of a box that you think, based on
Yeah.
the stories that you've told yourself, you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also, especially on social media, it's so easy to say, well, I really like what this person's doing or that person's doing, so I'm going to do that. But that doesn't fit you because that's right for them and not you.
Right. And I mean, for me, I did that. I think a lot of us do that. And
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
natural. We're trying to figure out who we are, what we want to do, what lights us up. And I spent a year and a half doing something that I thought would be the best way for me to make money and be successful. And it was like, this is what I mean by checking the boxes. It was okay, I got to get up. I got to write this post. Oh, I have this client that I got to talk to. All right, it's almost over. So it's like, not that I didn't like working with them or that I
Mm.
didn't want to help them. It just, at a soul level, at a like uh primal level, it just did not light me up. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't, why did I start this business if I'm going to feel like this?
Mm.
Because I think some of us have this idea that business isn't supposed to be fun. If it's fun and if it's easy, then we're doing something wrong.
We're not doing it
Yeah,
right.
right.
So how did you find the moon? I mean, what led you to this path? Because I've been through the same kind of things, but I wasn't led to the moon, if that makes sense. So how did you stumble across it?
I've been trying to figure that out. I I think as a kid, I was always looking at the sky. I don't really think I was, consciously saying, "Oh, I'm, out here looking at the moon." I just would. I'd walk
Mm.
outside and I'd look up. And then it was a long kind of spiritual journey,
Yeah.
but coming from a very religious background and a very corporate background, and everything is black and white, and then all of a sudden I have these urges to become a tarot reader, and I want to do astrology, and I want to do things that are out there, and I'm like, nope, can't do it. What are people going to think? This is just
Oh
not
God,
for
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So I just kept pushing it away, and then I'm like, I can't ignore this anymore, right? I just
Mm.
so but then I do it. So the first thing I did was become a tarot reader, but I'm like, I can't tell anybody this. So I did it for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a business, but it has to be very corporate. It has to be very black and white. There's no spiritual, there's no woo, there's no nothing. Right. And in the back of my head, I kept like astrology. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with astrology? I am not doing this. I kept pushing it away.
Yeah.
And finally, like I said, I couldn't ignore it anymore. And to answer your question on the moon, I don't think there's any definitive point that I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. I think it's more of the first time in my life that I actually allowed myself to just not overthink something and just follow what I was drawn to. And the moon, I was very drawn to the moon. And, when I was studying astrology, those are the books that I would go to. I'd always gravitate towards the moon. But when I learned, what the birth chart told me, when I understood what the moon symbolized, which is that emotional fulfillment, I think honestly, it's what's been missing for me for so long, is doing something with my life and feeling like there's meaning.
Yeah.
And I guess I just latched onto it.
Mm.
Plus, it was easy. I always was the person that said, can you just give me a checklist and just say, do this, do this, do this? And the moon, with its phases and its cycles, it does that. Okay, this is the week that you set intentions. This is the week you take action. This is the week you reflect on what you need to release. And this is the week that you kind of receive and hear and tune into your intuition. And it's every month like that. And to me, that not forcing myself to do things, I would force myself to do things, and then I'd feel guilty when I didn't feel up to it or want to do it. But working with the moon's like, okay, I don't feel that way right now. This is why. This is the energy that's going on right now. It's okay, because I know in 2 weeks I'm going to feel okay to do this. And then being able to plan everything around that energy and knowing what's going on. Oh my gosh, it was like amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, like you said, doing something that's outside the box. And I do know about the new moon, the intentions, and going through the cycle to the release, but I never thought of it as like a checklist every month. But I suppose it is. And you can schedule your work into those boxes, can't you?
Yeah, and I guess that is kind of me still holding on to that yin, or that masculine energy that is
Controlling it.
total control. And so and it is constantly evolving, and I am definitely not there, which is why I probably rely so heavily on it, because even just going outside and looking at the moon, and just standing there when I'm walking my dog and it's full, or whatever phase it is that you can see it, and just feeling the emotion that it brings, and almost like sometimes bringing me to tears. That's like the feminine energy that I don't allow myself to sit in, because it doesn't feel productive.
Yeah.
But it totally is.
I totally resonate with that completely. My normal way of being is quite masculine energy. And I know the sun's masculine and the moon's feminine. So, but going out into the moon at night, I love it. I go out every single night and I look for it. I'm devastated when I can't see it. But it does just make you sit there and look at it, I just talk to her. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And thank you for your energy. And just communicate with the moon on a feminine level. But yeah, maybe I do need to, that needs to top me up more. Maybe that's what that is. That's why I'm drawn to it maybe so much, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And it's just, I think there's a shift that I'm hoping is happening, which I do think, the energy of this year is all about a spiritual up leveling
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
shifting and thinking.
Mm,
And it's kind of going from that old traditional outdated business model to, and especially as female leaders that have a platform that we can speak to our audience and we can get this message out, like, hey, there is a different way to do this that feels better. And at least for me, the whole feminine energy side has kind of been looked down on a little bit, like as
mm.
weak.
Oh, it is in
And
business, especially. Yeah.
totally. And I
Yeah.
mean, how that's the side that you create, and that's the side you connect with your intuition and get those messages that you can then take into, those action phases and like make
Mm,
it reality. But how else? And I think that's what's missing, and that's what a lot of entrepreneurs, like we were talking about in the beginning, we're going and we're copying and we're okay,
mm.
this works, and we're not allowing our own creativity because either you think you're not creative, which no, every single one of us has creativity. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about being able to draw or paint a picture. Creativity comes in different ways, and if we shut down that feminine, beautiful, fertile side of us, we are missing out on so much.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, the creative side is more, it's not, like you say, it's not about making something or drawing something. It's ideas that are birthed and things like that, and different ways of doing things and looking at things. And quite often, especially like we say in business, we're like, well, that's not how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not allowed to explore that side of us. We have to do, well, it has to be this way because that's the business way.
Yeah.
But female leaders stepping up and doing different things now. We're stepping into a different power, I think, completely.
Yeah. And I think this month especially is more of a creative, finding your voice type energy. And I think more of us are getting the courage to say, you know what, this just doesn't feel right. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't feel right for me. There
Mm,
could be a different way of doing things. I'm going to keep trying, keep listening, keep digging deep, keep asking myself questions until I can show up and emerge as authentic. And I guess that's really, those are the three words for me, is authenticity, alignment, and impact. I just feel that when you get authentic to who you are,
mm,
you find your voice, you are aligned with why you're here in the first place, because I truly believe we all have a purpose why we're here. And then you can show up on your platform and in your audience and make an impact. I mean, I don't know, for me at least, that is so, like, I have goosebumps just thinking about that. That is just so powerful. Like, if you can get out of your own way and find that courage to use your voice and stand up
mm,
for whatever it is, let go of how many followers or how many likes or how many whatever, and just know and trust at some point that you are attracting your soul clients, the
mm.
people that are here for your medicine and what you have to offer. That to me is, I mean, that right there is almost bringing me to tears, just thinking about how many of us can
Yeah.
have the ability to do that. And
Mm,
so many female leaders and female business owners that I have associated myself with, and that I know I admire so much, because this isn't easy
no,
at all,
no, definitely not.
standing up. Yeah.
In the beginning, I remember saying what I thought people wanted to hear, what I
Mm-hmm.
thought they needed me to say, keeping in the same message, but not with my voice and not how I wanted to express it. But I thought it had to be expressed this way. And that was
Right.
really difficult because it was completely inauthentic, even though the message was coming from me, just the way that I said it. And guys, if you're listening, when you're listening here, I follow Jen on Instagram, and she's the real Jen Ems on Instagram. I'll put it in the show notes. But I love that your daily alignments with the cosmos. They make me stop and read them on the stories, because it's just empowering, and it helps me set up my day for what's going on as well. So thank you for posting those. That's really, really
You're
great.
welcome. Thank you.
So you do one-to-one coaching, you do birth charts.
Yes.
What else do you do with your clients? How else do you help them?
So the other thing that I do, again, I come from a very corporate background, and I do like, planning. I do think that if you know the best way to, maybe go after a project, or the best time to launch something, or the best time to sign contracts, or whatever, right? It's kind of the idea of working with the energy, not against it.
Yeah.
So I will look and see. I actually do like a year ahead plan for you based on your
Wow.
chart and based on, where the planets are moving, and kind of identify what's your biggest challenge this year, what's your biggest opportunity, because there's different parts of your life that it's affecting, right? So that's what I'm saying. You kind of harness that energy, and you understand you can do it. You can still do it without this, totally do it without this. It's just, why not work easier and make it easier? And no, I truly believe there's timing for everything. It's all about timing and understanding that timing. Maybe if your business isn't going or growing as quickly as you want, maybe there's a reason for it. Well, I know there's a reason for it. And I can identify, hey, this is what you need to do right now for you to get to that point. Right. So I do that. So we look at the year ahead and kind of say, hey, this is the best time. Maybe if you were thinking about writing that course or launching that course, these are your ideal times to do that. Right. And then of course the moon, we get the moon plan each month, because like the moon's in Gemini, the new moon's in Gemini today. Right. And it collectively, it affects all of us, but it also, depending on where it shows up in your chart, you can get a better, like more detailed understanding. Okay, so this is where I need to get more curious. I need to get more curious on how maybe I can, show up collectively as a group, or maybe I need to get more curious on, maybe it shows up in your money section, like how I can better budget my money or whatever. Right. So there's a collective energy, but there's also a very personal, detailed energy. So again, it's layers. It's all about layers. And I feel strongly, like I said, about helping people make that impact. And I want to help you do it easier and more aligned. So that's what we do. I mean, I'm very much, basically, here's how to sum it up. You already have the strategy. You got your business down. I'm helping you bring some soul into that strategy, right? And it's all about focusing mostly on that fulfillment piece, the fulfillment side of it.
Yeah. And like you say, timing is really important.
Totally.
And it's not a matter of what timing in your calendar, it's timing for you energetically as well, which is absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's just amazing stuff, the things you can learn. It's really cool. So tell us what to expect. What's happening with the moon in June, and how can it affect us this month?
All right. So the moon in June is more about, you're going to feel busier. It's like a busy energy. Like you want to do all the things, right? Ooh, I want to do this and I want to do that. And it's like ideas coming in constantly, especially after this week, when things start going, everybody's heard about Mercury retrograde. So it's kind of, it gets a little clearer maybe, but I guess for June, I would say is, there's a lot of planets moving into kind of the action taking. You're going to feel more motivated to do things and take action on those ideas. But I guess the most important message I would say for everybody is, don't get distracted. Like, especially if you did set your intentions on the new moon, or you do know what you want to work through for this moon cycle, focus on it, because you will feel pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
Just don't lose sight of what you're trying to do, and make sure that every action you take is aligned to that goal. And that's what's going to move you forward. And honestly, the other thing is you may not feel total clarity and understanding on where you're going. So don't just sit there and wait for something to fall in your lap. It's kind of a trial and error thing. If you don't feel clear about it, it's okay. Just take action, see how you feel about it, see what went, what happened. And then kind of you're taking little steps. You're not going to see from point A to point B. It's just not supported right now. So But what is supported is taking that action and finding that motivation to take those little steps and kind of course correct on your way.
Awesome. And that's tied up with, so we're doing all the action, but it's tied up with, so the new moon, which is setting the intention.
Yep.
And then the second week of that is still building on it. And then it's the full moon and it's waning then. So it's releasing.
Yeah. So this week, you're kind of setting your intentions and you're planning for the month, right? What do I think I want to do? And then next week is when you start taking the action. And then the full moon comes and you're kind of like, okay, what have I done so far? Let's celebrate everything that I've done. And maybe what do I need to do a little differently or adjust so I can continue to move forward towards that goal? And that's kind of the next week. You will feel the energy waning a little bit, but it's about reflection and, okay, again, it's still that course correcting that you're doing and what little things can I do today to keep moving me towards my goal? And then that last week and kind of where we've been in this past week, it's kind of all right, let's refill my cup. Let's relax. Let's receive. Like, you're a manifestation coach. You know that a lot of us put those intentions out there, but we forget to actually make time to receive it.
See, we don't allow ourselves to receive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's that last week. And then you do it over again. Yeah. And eventually, the more you do it, you'll see patterns. You'll understand how you, kind of back to your question at the very beginning, does this affect us all the same? Kind of yes and no. Some days it just doesn't, right? But like I know that when that moon is in Virgo, I warn everybody for those 3 days, hey, this is not a good time for Jen. Just be a little patient with me. I don't understand why, but I understand the patterns and it just makes it so much better. It really does. It's like totally changed my life.
Awesome. And that's why you're the moon goddess and that's why you do what you do.
Thank you. Yes.
So if my audience want to get in touch with you, where would be the best place to find you on the web then?
All right. So the best place, my website is therealjenems.com, but I hang out most on Instagram. So it's at @therealjenems. And that's where I post a lot and I talk on stories and I do my daily updates on the moon, on the energy. And I focus solely on business owners and kind of a business focus versus, I'm not going to be on there talking about your relationships, maybe in a business sense, but not with your husband. But so I just look at it differently. And
I love your Instagram stories. They're amazing. I always watch them. So yeah, they're great. Highly recommend them.
So that's where you can find me.
Sorry?
That's where you can find me.
Yeah, that's where we can find you. And you also have, I think you have a little gift for my listeners as well today.
Yes. So again, I'm all about alignment and I start out with your sun sign, which is the greatest expression of that your soul wants to do and like the legacy you want to leave in your business. So I created a freebie that tells you how to align your business based on your sun sign. So I think I'm pretty proud of it. So I think it's fun and it gives you kind of an idea, at least to think about, hey, is this where I want to go? How does this feel? That's always where I start out on these charts when I look at them as your sun sign.
Awesome. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well so people can find that as well. Thank you so much. So you have daughters, Jen. So are you spending time with your daughters today? What are you doing?
So today here in the States, it's Memorial Day. So we have off.
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, thank you. So right now, my 2 teenage girls are upstairs sleeping. So I think that's, they just got out of school. So I think they're going to kind of chill and maybe spend some time at the pool because it's pretty hot here. So today's kind of a nice, relaxing, perfect new moon chill day.
Nice. You'll be setting intentions, I hope.
Totally. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Jen. It's been amazing. I hope you have a great day with your daughters and a great month ahead of you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on here. I really enjoyed it.
you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset, and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy, inspired, motivated.